Hello future RNs, this is Sir Josh, and for our recorded lecture, ang pag-uusapan natin today is all about your hypersensitivity. Okay, so pag sinabi nating hypersensitivity and nurses, okay, these are destructive immune responses, okay, that occur after the exposure to an antigen. Ibig sabihin, if you go back to your review of your anatomy and physiology pagdating sa ating immune system, okay, or pagdating sa ating immunology, no? Okay, nung pinag-aralan nyo yung mga, yung mga reactions of your tissues, of your immune system, of our body to any antigenic stimulation. So, ang nangyayari ngayon, normally, once na nagkaroon tayo ng invasion of these antigens, okay, usually ang nangyayari is that our body creates its own defense. Okay? So, once na nabombard tayo ng madaming antigen, like for example, our body occasionally creates its own defense. Ibig sabihin, nakakapag-produce po tayo ng mga iba't ibang antibodies natin. And usually, remember, yung mga antibodies natin, no, these are actually mga protein substances natin that are being secreted by our B cells, okay, from your immune system. So, ngayon, pag masyadong madami yung mga antigens that are being introduced into our body, automatically our body will secrete its own antibodies, okay, para depensahan yung mismong katawan natin. And, okay, your hypersensitivity or your anaphylactic reaction or allergic reaction, diba? They can produce various symptoms within minutes to several days. Ibig sabihin, okay, malalaman natin yan later on as we go on through our discussions regarding kapag may mga immediate kasi, no, na type ng ating hypersensitivity, and of course meron din tayong mga tinatawag na delayed na hypersensitivity reactions wherein, okay, tawag dito, once na nagkaroon tayo ng exposure to the different antigens, okay, it's either nagkakaroon tayo ng immediate reaction. Okay? That's when nagkakaroon tayo ng iba't ibang mga manifestations. And then, meron din tayong mga, pag, for example, nagkaroon tayo ng re-exposure from these antigens, okay? Nagkakaroon tayo ng delayed na reaction. Okay? Umaabot mo na yan ng ilang days bago tayo magkaroon ng mga symptoms or manifestation. And usually, your hypersensitivity reactions, okay, they may be humoral or cell-mediated. Ibig sabihin, pag humoral, okay, these are actually antibody-mediated ang mga humoral na na mga immune response natin. And however, pag cell-mediated naman po, dito usually nagre-respond yung mga tinatawag natin na T-cells natin. Okay? So, dito, meron tayong iba't ibang types, okay, ng ating hypersensitivity. Meron actually tayong 4 okay na types ng hypersensitivity. So, first, discuss muna natin yung ating hypersensitivity type 1. So, pag sinabi natin hypersensitivity type 1 yan, okay, tinatawag din po natin siyang your anaphylactic reaction. Okay? So, pag sinabi natin hypersensitivity type 1, okay, usually tinatawag din po natin siyang anaphylactic reaction. Okay? So, ulit natin ha, anaphylactic reaction. Diba? As we all know, pag sinabi nating anaphylactic yan, we do have a, we do have a negative connotation pag sinabi nating anaphylactic, nakakatakot. Diba? Nakakatakot siya wherein it can range from, it's either a mild to life-threatening condition. Kapag nakarinig tayo ng term na anaphylactic. So, pagdating sa ating hypersensitivity type 1, okay, as you can see here, okay, it is mediated by what? Your immunoglobulin E antibodies or your IgE. Okay? If you can still remember yung mga iba't ibang immunoglobulins natin in our body. Okay? Isa ito sa mga example nito. We have your immunoglobulin E or your IgE, wherein these immunoglobulins are responsible for parasitic, okay, reactions, or it's even with your allergic reactions natin. Okay, so yun po yung trabaho ng ating immunoglobulin E natin. And then, usually, okay, there is a production of your, there is a destruction, okay, of your mast cell or the granulation of your mast cells kapag nagkaroon tayo ng release of your IgE antibody natin. Wherein, pag nagkaroon pa tayo ng destruction dun sa ating mast cell na tinatawag natin. Yung mast cell kasi na yan, no, tawag dito, located kasi yan sa iba't ibang parts ng ating katawan. Okay, predominantly, your muscles, makikita natin yan sa skin, and even in your respiratory tract natin. So, pag nagkaroon kasi ng release of your IgE kasi natin as tawag dito as panlaban or defense from any invasion of these antigens, pwedeng masira yung mga muscles natin. And kapag nangyari yan, pag nasira yung muscles natin, nurses, remember, pag nasira ang muscles, there will be a release of your what? Release of your tinatawag natin na histamine 1. Okay? So, I know for sure, alala pa rin natin kung ano si histamine 1 natin, no? Ang histamine 1 natin, this is an example of your chemical mediators wherein meron po itong effect, okay? Or nagkukos po siya ng, or it can trigger inflammatory response to the different parts of our body. Okay, if you could remember your histamine 1 natin. So, ngayon, okay, pag nagkaroon kasi tayo ng hypersensitivity 1, okay, so ano usually yung mga reactions ng ating katawan or manifestations natin? Pagdating sa ating local reactions, si patient pwede siyang mag-manifest ng allergic rhinitis. Okay? Ano pa? We have your urticaria or yung mga hives natin or pruritus natin, pangangati sa katawan. And pag sinabi naman nating systemic reaction, ito na yung mga life-threatening anaphylactic reactions natin. Okay? That could eventually kill someone kapag si patient nagkaroon ng hypersensitivity type 1 or pag hindi natin na-manage yung kanyang reaction ng kanyang katawan. So, normally, di ba, pag-aralan natin yung mga iba't ibang allergens natin. So, sa mga allergens natin, nurses, okay, ito yung mga, usually, mga harmless to na mga bagay, no? But, kapag na-introduce sa ating katawan, pwede siyang mag-cause ng harmful reactions. Okay? So, tandaan lang natin pag allergens yan. Okay? Meron tayong dalawang klase ng allergens. Meron tayong tinatawag na, number 1, we have here your intrinsic one. Okay? And then, next, we also have here your extrinsic. Pag sinabi natin intrinsic yan, nurses, usually intrinsic, from the word of intrinsic, ito usually, okay, ang nagkukos nito will be your emotional distress. Like, for example, pag ikaw ay nagkaroon ng anxiety or ikaw ay under stress. Okay, so it could trigger yung mga tinatawag natin na intrinsic allergens natin. Okay, so mapapansin natin, no, may mga tao usually na meron naman talaga silang asthma. But eventually, when they grow older, okay, biglang nawala yung asthma nila. Okay, so ibig sabihin nun, ang kanilang number 1 na nakakapag-trigger ng kanilang asthma are your intrinsic allergens. Okay, that includes your anxiety and your stress natin. Okay, however, okay, pagdating sa ating extrinsic naman, nurses, okay, ibig sabihin extrinsic panlabas. Okay, so ano yung mga iba't ibang extrinsic allergens natin? It's either, okay, nakadepende yan kung paano sila na-i-introduce, okay, into our body, okay, or na-expose yung ating katawan. Okay, we have here your inhalants. Okay, what else? We have your ingestants as well. Okay, meron din tayong tinatawag na injectants. And then lastly, meron tayong tinatawag na congestants. Okay, so kailangan natin i-differentiate kung ano pinagkakaiba ng mga intrinsic allergens na to. Pag sinabi natin inhalants, from the word of inhalants, okay, ito yung mga nalalanghap natin. Like for example, nakalanghap ka ng usok ng sigarilyo, usok ng sasakyan, okay, that could trigger a specific allergic reaction. Okay, what else? You have your ingestant. Okay, pag sinabi naman natin mga ingestants, ito yung mga pagkain, okay, ito mga beverages natin, okay, that could cause allergic reaction. And tandaan natin, no, usually talaga, tawag dito, yung mga pagkain natin that highly contains your preservatives natin. Okay, they usually causes increased chance for you to have an allergic reaction. Okay, yung mga pagkain natin that are highly seasoned, okay, highly tawag dito, masyadong mataas yung kanilang preservatives. Okay, yun yung mga pagkain that could cause, okay, allergic reaction. Okay, what else? Pagdating sa injectants natin, okay, like for example, tawag dito mga gamot natin, okay, na binibigay natin, pwede magkaroon ng magkaroon ng allergic reaction, lalo pag hindi siya na-test first. Okay, like for example, mga antibiotics natin, di ba? Kailangan muna tayo mag-undergo ng skin test so that we can determine kung magkakaroon ka ng allergic reaction to that specific antibiotic. And then lastly, pagdating sa congestants natin, ito yung mga powders natin. Okay, na pwede nating malanghap. Like for example, in your makeup, di ba? So these are example of your extrinsic allergens natin. So usually, pag nagkaroon kasi tayo ng allergens, okay, anong nangyayari is that there will be a release of your immunoglobulin E natin. Okay, because this immunoglobulin, this serves as tawag dito a defense to that specific allergen. Kumbaga panlaban po sila to that specific allergen. So ngayon, tandaan natin that your IgE usually napupunta po sila saan? Napupunta po sila sa ating skin. Okay, with your eosinophils natin, di ba? Pumupunta po sila sa ating skin. That's why, pag napupunta po sila sa ating skin, ano pwedeng magkaroon? Ano pwedeng mangyari? Okay, pwedeng kang magkaroon ng rashes, di ba? That's why nagkakaroon ka ng rashes or your urticaria. Ibig sabihin, pag nagkaroon ka ng rashes, pag nagkaroon ka ng urticaria, ibig sabihin that's a good news. Bakit? Ibig sabihin, there is a good response, okay, or responsive yung ating immune system because once na-expose tayo sa iba't ibang allergens natin, and once yung IgE na yan na-produce as in our body, okay, pumupunta sila sa ating skin, ibig sabihin, anong nangyayari? Nagkakaroon ng rashes or urticaria, ibig sabihin, lumalaban po yung ating katawan to that specific allergen. Kaya nagkakaroon ka ng rashes or urticaria natin. And aside from that one, pag yung IgE na natin niya yan, okay, pupunta sila sa ating mga muscles. Okay, saan ba usually nakalocate si ating muscles? Nakalocate po sila sa ating lungs. Okay, they are predominantly located in your lungs, wherein pag nagkaroon kasi ng release of your IgE with that sensitization or reaction, pwede niyang sirain yung mga muscles natin. Okay, pwedeng masira yung muscles natin, and pag nasira yung muscles natin, that's the time na nakakapag-release tayo ng isang chemical mediator, which is your histamine 1 natin. Okay, yun ang tandaan ninyo, nurses, sa pag nasira or na-destruct po yung ating, o na-destroy po yung ating mga muscles, nagkakaroon po ng release of your chemical mediator, which is your histamine 1 natin. And usually, ang ating histamine 1, meron pong iba't ibang effect yan sa ating katawan. Okay, it's either your histamine 1, it causes what? Number 1, it causes bronchoconstriction. Okay, kasi nagkakaroon po ng contraction yung mga smooth muscle natin. Bronchoconstriction, sorry. Okay, bronchoconstriction. Okay, your histamine 1, it causes bronchoconstriction. What else? Your histamine 1, it also causes your vasodilation natin. That's why, okay, bakit delikado? Ito na po yung mismong implication kung bakit delikado na nagkakaroon tayo ng allergic reaction or anaphylactic reaction because, sabi natin kanina, pag nasira yung ating mga muscles, okay, in your lungs, predominantly in your lungs, there will be a release of your histamine 1. And pag nagkaroon po ng release of your histamine 1, what will happen? It can cause bronchoconstriction. And aside from your bronchoconstriction, it also causes your vasodilation. That's why pag nagkaroon ng bronchoconstriction, pwede bang maapektuhan ang airway and breathing of our patient? Yes, it can cause, okay, airway and breathing problem, or it can compromise your airway and breathing. Kasi nga, sabi natin, pag nagkaroon ka ng allergic reaction, pag na-release po yung ating chemical mediator, the histamine 1, that causes bronchoconstriction, it can cause airway and breathing compromise. Okay, how about with your vasodilation? Remember, pwede bang maapektuhan ang circulation ng patient natin pag nagkaroon ng vasodilation? Yes, kasi pag nagkaroon ng vasodilation, what will happen with the blood pressure of our patient? Babagsak po ang blood pressure ng ating patient. That's why, eventually, sabi natin kanina, itong mga allergic reactions, itong mga anaphylactic reactions na to, it ranges from mild to life-threatening condition. Pag umabot to sa ganito, pag hindi natin na-manage, hindi natin na-control yung allergic reaction ng isang tao, it could lead to possible anaphylactic shock. Okay, pwedeng mamatay yung pasyente natin na nagkaroon lang ng simpleng allergic reaction. That's why hindi po maganda yung sinasabi nila na kapag meron tayong specific allergy, you have to expose yourself to that specific allergens. Para sa ganun, masanay, okay, yung katawan natin, okay, para ma-determine natin kung gaano nag-work yung ating mga immunoglobulin. Hindi po dapat ganun kasi depende po yan kung paano magre-react yung ating immune system natin towards that specific allergen. Kasi sabi natin, pwedeng mamatay ang ating pasyente, okay, pag hindi natin ma-manage ang kanyang allergic reaction. Okay, so that is your hypersensitivity type 1. Kaya siya tinawag na anaphylactic reaction, kaya siya tinawag na immediate type of your hypersensitivity. Okay, immediate, ibig sabihin pag immediate, agad-agad po siya na nagkakaroon ng reaction. Okay, next naman tayo with your hypersensitivity type 2 tayo, nurses. Si hypersensitivity type 2 nurses, ang tandaan lang natin, okay, it is mediated by what? It is mediated by your, tawag dito, immunoglobulin G and your immunoglobulin M natin. Okay, so ang pwedeng mangyari dyan, okay, pag nagkaroon po ng mediation of your IgG and your IgM, okay, it attaches to what? It attaches to self, okay, to itself, dun sa mga cells natin, and causes cell lysis, or it causes cell or tissue destruction. Okay? So, usually, anong good example lang ating tinatawag na hypersensitivity type 2? Kaya nga siya tinatawag na, since it causes destruction of your cells, or tawag dito, destruction of your cells and your tissues, tinatawag din kasi natin yung hypersensitivity type 2 natin as your cytotoxic reaction. Okay, tinatawag natin siyang cytotoxic reaction. Wherein, ibig sabihin pag cytotoxic, toxic po siya sa ating mga cells. That's why, okay, it causes what? It causes cell lysis or cell or tissue destruction. Okay, so usually, kanino ba sila nag-attach to mga tawag dito na ito, mga IgG and IgM natin? They usually attach dun sa mga circulating blood elements natin. Okay, that's why a good example of your hypersensitivity type 2 natin is your what? It's your blood transfusion. Okay? Kasi sabi natin kanina, pag nagkaroon ka ng hemolytic reactions, okay, breakdown of your tawag dito of your blood components natin, or destruction of your blood components natin, they are usually associated with your blood transfusion or your BT. Okay? That's why, mapapansin natin din sa mga manifestations natin pag nagkaroon ka ng hypersensitivity to type 2 or your cytotoxic reaction is that nagkakaroon ka ng flank pain. Because sabi natin, during your blood transfusion, okay, for example, mali yung na-transfuse natin na blood type, dun, or type ng dugo dun sa pasyente natin. For example, type A siya, tapos nakapag-transfuse ka ng type B, okay, pwedeng magkaroon ng hemolytic reaction or magkaroon ng cell or tissue destruction, specifically your blood elements natin. And usually, ano ang usually na napupuruhan pag nagkaroon tayo ng maling transfusion of our blood? It's your kidneys natin. That's why, unang manifestation natin will be your what? It's your flank pain. Okay, pwede rin siya magkaroon ng chills, pwede rin siya magkaroon ng fever, and even with your hematuria. That indicates sa possible nagkaroon ng destruction or damage dun sa kidney ng patient natin dahil mali yung na-transfuse natin na blood. Okay? So, mapapansin natin pag mag-duty kayo soon, no? Pagdating sa blood transfusion, dapat usually talaga ilang beses dapat siya bine-verify. Okay? Para tignan namang mabuti kung ano yung type ng blood. Okay? Kung ano yung mismong, kung kaninong patient dapat ibibigay or itatransfuse yung blood natin. Okay, kaya nga nag-undergo muna tayo ng iba't ibang processes like cross-matching, for example. Nang sa ganun, ma-validate natin, ma-verify natin na tama yung ibibigay natin na blood kay patient. Like for example, ilang beses ba dapat yan bina-validate or chine-check? At least 3 times dapat yan. Okay, 3 times dapat na chine-check yan. And ilang nurses dapat ang nag-validate or nag-verify ng ating blood na itatransfuse? Dapat 2 nurse yan. Okay? So, for example, sa ngayon, pag si patient nag-undergo ng blood transfusion, tas mali yung na-transfuse natin na blood kay patient, what will be our management? Okay, our management here will be what? You have to stop. Okay, stop mo yung mismong blood natin. Patayin mo yan. Kaya nga dalawa yung mismong natin dyan, di ba? Pag mag-BT si patient, dalawa yung line natin. Okay, yung isa para din sa kanyang yung mismong main line niya, okay, that involves your fluids, IV fluids natin, and then dun sa kabila, nandun yung mismong blood na itatransfuse natin kay patient. That's why, kapag nagkaroon siya ng hemolytic reaction, what are you going to do? Any of this manifestation, what are you going to do? You have to stop the blood, and then what are you going to do? Pinatay mo na yung mismong blood natin. What are you going to do next is that you have to continue yung mismong yung mismong IV fluid ng pasyente na specifically yung ginagamit natin, we have your plain NSS or your normal saline solution. And then right after that one, while waiting para matulungan natin yung kidneys natin, okay, para hindi masira yung kidney natin, okay, your patient will undergo on the latter part your tinatawag natin na dialysis. Para matulungan natin itanggalin lahat ng mga residue or tanggalin lahat ng mga tawag dito ng mga nasira, okay, na blood elements natin outside our body, para hindi masira yung mismong kidney natin. So that is your hypersensitivity type 2 or yung tinatawag natin na cytotoxic reaction. Okay? So, next naman tayo here with your type 3. Okay, your hypersensitivity type 3 natin. Ito naman po, yung tinatawag natin na immune complex reaction. Okay? So, your type 3, ito yung tinatawag natin na immune complex reaction. Okay, so in here naman po, this is being mediated by what? By your antigen-antibody complexes that deposit in the lining of your blood vessels or tissue surfaces natin. So ngayon kasi nurses, itong mga, pag nagkaroon kasi ng, pag naglaban po kasi yung ating antigen versus your antibody, nakakapag-create po tayo ng mga tinatawag natin na immune complexes. Wherein these immune complexes, okay na, actually malalaki po kasi silang mga particles and they are not being, tawag dito, hindi sila agad-agad natatanggal outside from our body. That's why itong mga to, itong mga immune complexes na to, dumidikit po sila or nade-deposit po sila sa mga lining ng blood vessels or your tissue surfaces natin. Like for example, pwede silang dumikit dun sa ano natin, sa mismong number 1, we have your heart. Pwede silang mag-deposit sa heart natin. What else? In your joints as well. And then lastly, we have your kidneys natin. Okay, wherein, pag na-deposit po yan sa ating heart, sa ating joints, or sa ating kidneys, it produces, tawag dito, immunologic response, or, tawag dito, hypersensitivity reaction. Okay, anong example natin here? Okay, for example, this is your antigen-antibody reaction natin. Diba sabi natin, nurses, normally, yung ating antigen, once it is being introduced, or once it invades, okay, our body, okay, anong ginagawa ng ating antibody? Pinapatay po niya si antigen natin. Pinapatay po ng ating antibodies yung antigen na pumasok sa ating katawan. So, maglagay tayo here ng example. So, ang example natin is your GABs. Okay, familiar with your GABs, nurses. Okay, or your group A beta hemolytic streptococcus. Okay, that causes primarily, ito usually yung agent that causes your sore throat and other, tawag dito, and other diseases. Okay, so ngayon, pag nakapasok si GABs inside our body, okay, normally, papatayin yan ng ating immune system. Okay, papatayin niya ng ating antibodies. So, normally dapat is that within 3 days, kasi, dapat napapatay po natin yung mismong GABs na yan. Or your group A beta hemolytic streptococcus. Bakit? Kasi pag hindi po natin yan napatay, what will happen? Okay, it can create another problem wherein nagkakaroon tayo ng production or release of your ICRA. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng ICRA natin? So, your ICRA, that is just your immune complex reaction antigen. Okay, that is your immune complex reaction antigen natin. Wherein, pag nagkaroon po tayo ng ICRA na yan, okay, it could cause another problem. Okay, pwedeng ma-release yung mga tinatawag natin na number 1, we have your allergic toxins. Okay, pwedeng ma-release number 1, we have your allergic toxins. What else? Pwedeng ma-release yung ating tinatawag na anti-GBM. Okay, nang ibig sabihin ng GBM natin, that is your glomerular basement membrane. And then, of course, lastly, we have yung tinatawag natin na rheumatoid factor. Okay, meron tayong tinatawag na rheumatoid factor natin. Wherein, pag for example, yung ating antibodies, hindi niya po napatay, yung ating GABs within 3 days, sabi natin there will be another problem that could arise, which is the production or release of your ICRA or yung tinatawag natin na immune complex reaction antigen. So ngayon, si immune complex reaction antigen natin, pwede siyang mag-create ng another problem. Pwedeng ma-release yung mga number 1, you have your allergic toxins. Next, you have your anti-GBM. And then lastly, meron tayong tinatawag na rheumatoid factor natin. Wherein, pagdating kay allergic toxins natin, dito po, nanggagaling yung mga sakit natin na tinatawag natin na number 1, we have your scarlet fever. Okay, meron tayong tinatawag na scarlet fever as well as your tinatawag natin na Kawasaki disease. Okay, galing yan kay ating allergic toxins natin. Okay, so next naman tayo here, we have your anti-GBM or your anti-glomerular basement membrane natin. Pag yan ay na-release, okay, anong pwedeng mangyari? Pwede kang magkaroon ng AGN or your acute nephritis. And then lastly, okay, we have your rheumatoid factor naman natin. Pagdating sa rheumatoid factor naman natin, nurses, dito na manggagaling yung iba't ibang rheumatoid disorders natin. Like number 1, we have your juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, next, we have your rheumatoid arthritis itself. And then lastly, meron tayong tinatawag na rheumatic heart disease natin. So, yan po yung ating tinatawag na antigen-antibody reaction dahil nagkaroon ng tinatawag natin na immune complex reaction antigen. Okay, that could produce another problem aside dun sa mismong problem na dahil kay antigen natin. Okay, what else? Ano pa pwede natin gawing example? Meron tayong tinatawag here na tetanus. Okay, familiar with your tetanus natin? Ano ulit ang ating ano ulit yung ating causative agent of your tetanus? 'Di ba? That is your Clostridium tetani or your Clostridium tetani. Alam ko na pag-aralan niyo to during your micropara, no? You have your Clostridium tetani or your tetani. Wherein, yung Clostridium tetani kasi natin, nurses. Okay, ang problema kasi sa kanya is it is considered as anaerobic bacteria. Ibig sabihin, pag anaerobic, it does not require oxygen for it to thrive or for it to survive. That's why, aside from that one, since anaerobic bacteria si Clostridium tetani natin, it is also considered as asymptomatic. Diba? Ibig sabihin, wala kang makikitang any manifestation once ikaw ay na-invade ng ating Clostridium tetani. That's why, mga patient na meron tetanus, hindi nila alam na meron silang tetanus. Okay? So, normally, anong ginagawa ng ating katawan? Okay, it defends us, no, from this causative agent. Okay, automatically yung ating katawan, it can produce your antibodies para mapatay natin yung ating Clostridium tetani. But the problem here is that since asymptomatic po siya, okay, and it is considered as an anaerobic bacteria, tong Clostridium tetani natin kasi it can produce dalawa yan. Ano yung dalawang yan, sir? Meron tayong tinatawag na tetano spasmin. And meron din tayong tinatawag na tetano-lysin. Yan ang problema kay Clostridium tetani natin. So ngayon, si tetanus spasmin natin, anong pwede niyang gawin? Okay? It can cause what? It can cause spasm of your cranial nerve number 5 and your cranial nerve number 7. Okay? Ibig sabihin, it causes spasm of your cranial nerve and your number 5 and your cranial nerve number 7. Because of your tetanus spasmin. Okay, how about with your tetanolysin? Ano naman bang effect ng tetanolysin natin? It causes what? It causes destruction of your blood. Okay, so yan po yung ginagawa ng mga serum na to, okay, that are being caused by your, tawag natin, by your Clostridium tetani natin. Ngayon, balikan natin sa ating tetanus spasmin. Sabi natin, it causes spasm both with your cranial nerve number 5 and your cranial nerve number 7. Remember, si cranial nerve number 5, this is your what? This is your trigeminal nerve. Diba? This is your trigeminal nerve natin. And remember, sa trigeminal nerve natin, meron tatlong parts yan. Okay? Ano yung tatlong parts ng ating trigeminal nerve? We have your number 1, you have your ophthalmic. Okay, what else? Meron tayong tinatawag na maxillary. And then lastly, meron tayong tinatawag na mandibular. Okay, wherein these parts of your cranial nerve number 5 or your ophthalmic or your trigeminal nerve, pag nagkaroon ng spasm in your ophthalmic part of your trigeminal nerve, hindi niya may i-close yung kanyang mata. Kaya nakadilat yung mga pasyente natin na merong tetanus. And aside from that one, mapapansin natin, since nagkaroon ng spasm, then sa ating maxillary and even with your mandibular, pwedeng mag-cause yan ng what? Pwedeng mag-cause ng lactyo. Ay yung mga patient natin na merong tetanus, okay, what will be our pathognomonic sign? We have your lactyo natin. It's because nag-cause ng ating tetanus spasmin then sa ating cranial nerve number 5, it causes what? Spasm. That's why naapektuhan yung kanyang maxillary and even with your mandibular na part ng ating trigeminal nerve, nagkakaroon ng lactyo yung pasyente natin. How about with your cranial nerve number 11? Di ba, remember your cranial nerve number 11? That is your spinal and accessory
cranial nerve natin. Okay, wherein, pag si patient nagkaroon ng spasm dun sa kanyang cranial nerve number 11, anong pwedeng mangyari sa kanya? Pwede siya magkaroon ng arcing of your back. Okay, kaya mapapansin natin yung pasyente natin na merong tawag dito, parang sinasabihan, pero hindi po. It's because nagkaroon lang po ng spasm dun sa kanyang cranial nerve number 11, which is your spinal or your accessory nerve natin. Okay, so yan po yung ating tinatawag na hypersensitivity type 3 natin or your immune complex reaction. Okay, so last tayo here, we have your hypersensitivity type 4. Pag sinabi naman po natin hypersensitivity type 4, ito po yung tinatawag natin na delayed hypersensitivity. Okay, tinatawag natin siya na delayed hypersensitivity. Okay, so this type of your hypersensitivity, it is mediated by what? Okay, mediated naman po siya sa ating lymphokines, okay, that are being released from your sensitized T-cell lymphocytes natin. Okay, wherein, sabi natin kanina, it causes what? Delayed response caused by it's either a direct or indirect antigen natin. Okay, antigen destruction. Okay, within 12 yan, 24 hours after exposure. Okay, dun pa lang po nagkakaroon ng reaction. So, yung mga example natin here, we have your contact dermatitis, like for example, na-expose ka sa mga halaman or mga substances, okay, that causes contact dermatitis or inflammation of your skin. What else? Nagkaroon ka ng transplant rejection. Like for example, nag-transplant tayo ng kidney, since yung ating kidney na yan, tawag dito, yung transplant or bagong kidney na transplant sa atin, hindi naman yan galing dati sa katawan natin. Automatically, your body will detect that one as a foreign one. That's why it will create a lot of antibodies para sirain yung mismong kidney na na-transplant sa'yo. Okay? And tawag dito, hindi naman yung immediate or agad-agad na i-reject yan ng katawan natin. It will take time, okay, bago niya, tawag dito, bago niya ma-determine that transplanted kidney is not, hindi siya galing sa'yo mismo. Okay, and of course, meron tayong tinatawag na tuberculin reaction, di ba? Yung tinatawag natin na PPD natin for patients na itetest natin if there is actually an exposure of your active TB, di ba? So, ano pa? We have your latex allergy as well. Okay? Pag si patient nagkaroon ng re-exposure again to latex, okay, that's the time na nagkakaroon na siya ng reaction. Okay? So, yan po yung tinatawag natin na iba't ibang types of your hypersensitivity natin. Okay? We have your hypersensitivity type 1, type 2, your type 3, and your type 4. Okay? So, nalagpasan natin kanina yung mismong type 1 natin. Hindi natin na-mention yung management natin here. That's why, okay, pagdating sa management natin, nurse-standan lang natin. Okay? Para hindi ka magkaroon ng hypersensitivity type 1, okay, you have to avoid your allergens. For example, with your intrinsic allergens natin, you have to avoid your stress and your tawag ito niya, your anxiety natin by how dapat si patient magkaroon siya ng maayos na coping and relaxation techniques. Okay? Para hindi siya ma-stress. Okay? Para hindi ma-trigger yung kanyang intrinsic allergens. How about with your extrinsic? Malamang, ang ano natin dito, since meron tayong iba't ibang types ng extrinsic type of your allergens, your inhalants, ingestants, your injectants, and congestions, ang kailangan dito is that we have to avoid this one. Okay, avoidance po ang management natin here. So, aside from that one, okay, pag si patient talaga nagkaroon ng reaction, okay, since, sabi natin yung mismong IgA na yun, pwede siyang pumunta dun sa mismong skin natin, okay, that could cause rashes or urticaria. What will be our management here? Kailangan mo lang pahiran yan ng steroid cream. Okay, nang sa ganon, okay, masuppress po natin yung inflammatory response ng ating katawan. How about with your muscle? Okay, para hindi masira yung mga muscles in our lungs, para hindi magkaroon ng release of your histamine 1, anong ibibigay natin na gamot? We can give your muscle stabilizers. Okay, we can give your muscle stabilizers. A good example of this one, okay, meron po tayong tinatawag na cromolyn sodium. Okay, para mapalakas po natin yung mismong mga muscles natin para hindi po sila masira. Okay? And then next, you have your histamine. Okay? Diba, meron tayong mga gamot for this one. Pwede tayong magbigay ng what? Pwede tayong magbigay ng antihistamine para hindi po magkaroon ng release of your, or para ma-counterpart po natin yung mismong action ng ating histamine nang sa ganon, hindi po siya mag-cause ng any
reactions. How about here? Okay? For example, nagkaroon pa rin ng histamine 1 production. Okay? What will be our management here para ma-reverse natin yung bronchoconstriction and your vasodilation? We can give your what? We can give your tinatawag natin na epinephrine natin. Okay? We can give your epinephrine natin because your epinephrine, nurses, okay, it mimics yung epinephrine na gamot natin, it mimics your sympathetic nervous system, di ba? Wherein, pag nagkaroon ng release of your epinephrine, normally, pag sa katawan natin, it causes what? It causes bronchodilation. Tama? Okay, it causes bronchodilation. Para sa ganun, ma-relieve po yung mismong difficulty or dun sa mismong problem, airway and breathing problem ng pasyente natin. And aside from that one, your epinephrine, it also causes what? Vasoconstriction. Okay, and with that, pwede nating ma-manage yung ating hypersensitivity type 1 natin.